Welcome back to another episode of Save Our Black Men. I'm your host, Ike. You know, I'm the one to preach, not the one to punch. Hey, this is just my intro video. I would first like you to hit that like and subscribe button for me. Try to follow me. Once I get 1,000 followers, I'll be able to, get my merch out there and get to selling it. I have plenty. I'm going to have the website and the link listed down low. But hey, I appreciate you tuning in. This is all about positivity and influence. Because once you influence a group will follow you, you could change a generation. But anyway, I'm out. And here go the topic. Save our black men. Well. We back again. Part 3 of the greatest threat to black men. It's not going to be a 10-part series, so it's not going to be boring. So just hear me out. Up next, black churches. Nah, y'all thought y'all was safe, huh? Nah, it don't work like that. Save our black men. We hold everyone accountable, including ourselves. Black churches. And I mean no disrespect to all my friends, my family. If you listening, if you watching, I mean no disrespect. This is not an attack on religion by any means. I believe in God, so don't come for me with that. I just believe in accountability, responsibilities, and obligations. So just hear me out. The biggest business in the black community. So when I was doing my research, when it came to the biggest business for the black community, I said black community, it was black churches. So 2023, black churches raised $11.5 billion. And let me say that again. In 2023, black churches raised $11.5 billion. You see how my voice go up when I say that billion? Yeah. Okay. So, doing my research, so they say 60% go back into the churches. So say your church raised $1 million. Okay. 600,000 going to the pastor / preacher / reverend, to the musician. The other 400,000, we talking about, well, if you have $1 million in your church, what does it go to? Okay. Now, so let me tell you a little story. My dad, he's in his 80s, right? So we took a trip down memory lane. We walked in the woods because, I know how it was when you were born in the 40s and in the South, just disrespectful. You know what? But hey, it is what it is. We're gonna make do with it. So he was telling me the story, and I'm gonna tell y'all the story. So he took me to a wooded area. He was showing me where the church was. I said, okay. So we walking, put on my boots, rubber boots or whatever, right? So we get there. And he was showing me this the layout. You had a church in front, north. You had a school connected to the church, south. You have a cemetery to the left, right? You look out the window, you see the cemetery. Man, that's crazy. And he showed me behind the school where you had the horses tied up there. So he said, son, you probably wonder why I don't go to church anymore. That's too easy because I want to know. So he telling me the story. Churches in the 40s, 50s, right? Educated young black men. And yeah, get this. And women, but we focus on save our black men, right? Educated them in life as well as in education. So it's teaching young black boys ABCs, whatever, right? Arithmetic, math, whatever, right? Teaching them, and then teaching them how to build, teaching them how to volunteer their time, teaching them how to help the elders. So church, back in the 40s and 50s now, from my experience with him, the people who was teaching in the church were also educating you in the school. Also, the men were educating you in life, teaching you to be a bricklayer, a farmer, anything you want to do, a carpenter. It teaching you all, right? So, teaching you how to respect that woman, right? Teaching you how to be a man. All right. So, let me clarify. Black churches, educating, right? Teaching them to build, right? Right? Teaching them respect, yep. And teaching them how to be a better person in life, while also teaching them to be saved, follow the word of God, and have a happy life. He said they did that for a while. I guess when the laws passed, they got, was able to go to school, whatever, right? So he said, they would start busing us to school. We didn't want to catch the bus, but we had to. He said, but then when I started coming back towards the church, looked like the church has lost their way. I said, what you mean? Every time you go to the church, they wasn't teaching anymore. They were asking for something. He said, yeah, but they lost the way. He said, teach us to do stuff to be great. So, what he was saying that the church lost the church lost their way, was basically what they used to do with young black boys. They stopped doing it. They got away from teaching young boys to be young men. And that rubbed him the wrong way. So, I said, well, you're right, because I feel the same way. All right. Old schools, they came together within the community, right? Most of them deacons and preachers on the board or whatever. They helped elderly. Also, they were farmers, builders. So if something wrong with an elderly person's house, guess what they'll do? Hey, let's go down and fix this house. So I said, man, what happened? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to church. I don't remember that. But what about educating me on building stuff? If my dad didn't do it, I would expect the church to do it, but the church never did it. So what we were doing to make better men, teaching us to own stuff, teaching us to grow, right? Teaching us to be able to live off the land and everything, got lost. Got lost in the message. So I said, well, Pop, what happened? He said, I don't know, son. He said, it's up to y'all to find out. I stopped going. I said, you know what? I understand it. So I was sitting there, I was researching, and I said, wait a minute. What they gonna do? What the church gonna do for us? Save our black men. We need churches now. Well, we needed them 20 years ago, but we need them now more than ever. So I started thinking, I said, let me see something. What a job creation. Okay, wait a minute. They teaching me to give to the church, but they not teaching me to build for the church. So what I mean by build for the church, they're not teaching me as they say in other religions, they're not teaching me King Solomon. They're not teaching me the engineer aspect. They're not teaching me the mathematical aspect so I can help the elderly. I can help build up the community. Only thing I knew about, let me see. Let me get this correct. They were teaching me to come to church, read the Bible, give to the church, act accordingly. I give them that, okay? Once you save, then what? Okay? You're supposed to live as Jesus lived, or as God wants you to live. You know, I know you're going to have your slips. Okay, got it. So, why don't I see y'all in the forefront? Pastors, preachers. Some of y'all up there in the front, I give you that. And I love it. I love to see that. But your hands ain't dirty. So hear me out when I say your hands are not dirty. You ain't building nothing. Yep. You ain't building a temple. You ain't helping in the community. Why? See, black churches in 2023 raised $11.5 billion. Where are our supermarkets, rehab centers, schools? Where are they? When you go to your church and ask them, because what I just said, $11.5 billion, just do 3 years. That's $34 billion. $34 billion. Why we don't own nothing? Why we can't have a black airport? Because all these churches are so divided. Yes, I'm putting y'all to the forefront. Y'all done lost y'all way. I don't want to hear God put y'all in charge to be spoiled. Stop that. Don't do that to us. Why you think the young generation don't want to come to the church? I was going to the church. Hey, I think that pastor one of the greatest. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you what he did. He opened up the Bible. He read from the Bible. Why y'all can't do that? He read from the Bible. Okay? So, the young black men see that. Young black men see what goes on in the church. I see it. Y'all see it too. Y'all ain't gonna admit it. I'm not understanding it. The reason I put them as the third greatest threat to black men, because you tell me, do black men go to church anymore? Hell, they lost their way. Did the black church say, for political reason or reasons, I'm going to abandon black men? That's why you got mostly women in the churches. See, black men in church can't build nothing because they lost their way. See, what they started doing, they started chasing dollars. Hey, I might be wrong. Somebody tell me. Give me a black supermarket owned by a church. Give me a school owned by, I ain't talking about one of them little academies, a school owned by a church. Rehab center. Because we know a lot of demons out here. These people need help. Owned by a church. But yet you can't invest in a school to help these young black men. Yet you can't invest in a school to help young black families. Yet you can't go into a community and say, you know what? Government, stand by. We're going to redo these houses for the elderly who can't afford it. No, y'all ain't going to do that. See, I said I wasn't going to do nothing for 15 minutes. But man, y'all just disrespecting us. Save our black men. Everybody accountable, baby. See, I just need the means. And I'm going to show y'all the way. Because it ain't all about everybody being greedy. You got people out here struggling in the community. I know some trying to get over. I understand that. I got you. I'm with you. But we got to help each other out. We just can't be greedy. Ain't nobody say, save our black men. You have to teach these young boys. These young boys has no guidance. The church used to provide that guidance. Black men in the church used to provide that guidance. What they do in the church now? Somebody tell me. Someone tell me what church has a black farmer, construction workers, business owners that teaching these young men, hey, come on, you're going to get this internship. We're going to show you how to become successful. We're going to show you one nail at a time how to build this house. Your crew. We're going to show you how to lay this concrete. We're going to show you how to plant this seed. Nah, they don't do that. Why? That's my question. Our young black men are lost. They are getting away from the church. They are getting away from everything. Why? It's our responsibility. It is our obligation to take care of these people. Teach young black men to build. We don't do that. So black churches, black members, no disrespect. I love church. My mama had me in church since I was a little boy. But I saw how they were going away from teaching young men to be young men, to teaching us how to build one nail at a time. See, you can't even build a house of the Lord if you don't know how to build, but y'all won't tell them that. It's all about self. 11.5 billion, and we can't get these little boys in the church? Because can't nobody tell me that little boys and young men are going to church like before, because I know that's not true. Because they see it. But the people in the church don't see it. They don't want to look in that mirror and say, you know what? We're doing this all wrong. You know why? They lifestyle. When you flip that switch, I'm going to give you some nuggets. If you want the young men back in church, stop doing what you say you're going to do. Start showing them what you're doing. If you living right by God, they're going to follow you. If you living foul, they're not going to follow you. They're not going to do it. So what you need to do, my advice, get your deacons, get your board members, get all the politics out the game. So what can we do to save these black men? Black churches, get your people together and say, hey, what can we do to get these young men back in church, to get them out that life? Because I'm going to tell you now, they going to come in, but you got to be able to control them. Influence them so they can follow you. But don't lie to them. All right? If you're living right, they're going to follow you. If not, they're going to become you. And you look in the mirror and say, is that a good thing? Good question. Black men are going in the wrong direction. Y'all make enough. Y'all have enough to invest in our young men, to try to get them off the streets into another lifestyle. We need your help. You know, I got you. I understand. Some things you're not comfortable with. I got it. Save our black men. Some things we're not comfortable with. But sometimes that's the best way to attack it. You got to take it head on. But anyway, hey, I love church. I believe in God. What I'm telling y'all is, we have lost our way with the black church. They have not held true to our ancestors, our great-grandparents, grandparents, and fathers. They have abandoned the mission, politicized the church. Stop it. Let's reverse that trend. Let's teach our young black men how to become great. build one stone at a time. But as always, I must say this because I want to sink in your mind. When you go to bed, I want you to say it. I'm your host, Ike. You know, I'm the one to preach, not the one to punch. Save our black men.